Guys, and welcome to my channel where we do DIY projects, crafts, and a little bit of organization, but all on a budget. Come check out today's video. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, check out some of my previous videos, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget, I always try and link everything I use in the description box. If I can't find exactly what I used, I try and link something as close as possible. Alright guys, I think that was everything. Here we go. So I have this Waverly Inspirations Antique Wax that I'm going to go ahead and dry brush onto this Dollar Tree wreath frame. It's the wood wreath frame. I'm going to go ahead and I don't want to cover it completely, but I do want some darkness to it. When I do the dry brushing, I usually start out really light and then go ahead and add more and more to build it up rather than starting with it too much and not being able to get it back to more of the original color that I started with. So that's what I'm doing here is I'm just going ahead and dipping into the antique wax, tapping onto the paper towel, and then brushing it onto the wreath. And you can see there's very little that's getting on there, so I do this several more times and build it up. Here's a look at the first kind of coat. So lots more dry brushing, and then once I'm finished, I'm going to leave it to dry. And while that dries, I'm going to go ahead and work on these leaves. I got these leaves from the Dollar Tree, and at first what I was going to do was make a garland from them. But then, as I was looking at my wreath, I was inspired to use them on that instead. So I'm going to use some of this wood filler. It's in the natural color. It's also from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to fill in these little holes at the top. And I'm going to overfill them because it can be sanded down, and I'd rather have there be too much in there than not enough because I want it to be even and I don't want any dips or dents or anything like that. Okay, I'll be honest, I get a little impatient and I like to go ahead and do more of the project than I probably should while things are drying. But I couldn't resist, so I went down and I grabbed my letters. These letters are also from the Dollar Tree, and as you can see, the leaves are placed on the wreath frame. This is just to give me a little bit better idea of what leaf is going to cover in what area. I'm going to add the letters to the leaves, so I don't want to cover any of the letters if possible. Then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to stick the sticker on the letter sticker on the leaf firmly. And I am trying to press on the sides a little bit better than the middle. At first I lay them on just lightly so I can make sure they're in the right spot, but then I go ahead and I press them all the way down. Several hours later, I was able to come back, and like I said, this little wood filler is able to be sanded, so I sanded all of them down so that they were even with the wood, just flat. Whoops. Once I had gotten all the leaves sanded, I went ahead and I brushed them off with a dry brush with nothing on it just to catch any of the dust that was left behind. Then I took the color Merlot as well as Rhubarb from the Waverly Chalk Paint Inspiration, and I mixed them together just so I could have some different tones of the fall colors. Then I went ahead and I painted it on the leaves. I only did the first side because the back side's going to be towards the wall, plus I don't think it's bad to have some of that light wood color in there since the frame was originally that color. So, I mean, it's up to you. I went ahead and I did a solid color, and then I thought I wanted to add a little bit more variety to it. So in the end, you'll see that I went ahead and took some varieties of the rhubarb and the Merlot as well as the mix, and I kind of brushed it on the edges and flared it out a little bit. So you'll see what I'm saying. But I went ahead and I painted all the leaves basically. Okay, so while the leaves were still a little damp from the paint, I went ahead and I took a razor blade and I just peeled up a corner of the sticker and was able to peel it right off. There's a couple areas where it looks like it bled under the sticker a little bit, but not too bad at all, so I'm really happy with it. I like having this wood color that the leaves naturally were because it kind of draws in the color that the frame originally was, and we still have a little of that showing through the antique wax. So I'm happy with this. Now we're going to go ahead and start putting it all together. So earlier we went ahead and we filled in the holes that were at the top of the leaves with the wood filler, and I don't think I explained why. I was originally going to use these for a garland, but I noticed that if I were to string that rope through, it was probably going to hang sideways, and so I wasn't going to see the front of the leaf, I was going to see the side of the leaf, which is why I decided I'm just going to hot glue the leaves together where they're touching on each other. Here you can see I have them laid out, and I took my wreath and I kind of laid the frame over the leaves where they were so I could make sure that I liked where they were landing on the wreath. And I was happy with that. I decided to move forward with gluing the leaf edges here together. And here we have a really bad camera angle, but I'm showing you how I'm kind of going to lay it on there. And when I'm going to hot glue it, oh yeah, I had it backwards. So when I hot glue it, I'm going to hot glue the edges that are actually touching the wreath frame. So I'm kind of seeing where they touch here. Then I'm going to put the hot glue where it lands. I'm double checking that I'm getting it in the right spot. I have to put it on both sides. So right now I have the wreath upside down so that the hot glue moves towards the leaves and adheres that woven frame to the leaves. But I decided I want to be on the extra safe side, so I just went ahead and I added a little hot glue on the back side where I could definitely see that the leaves and the frame were coming and meeting together. And as promised, I'm adding some raffia to this, and I honestly couldn't decide what I wanted to do, where I wanted the bow, if I wanted it thick or thin, so I played around with it a lot, and then we'll come back in the end and I'll show you the full results and what I ended up with. And here's the final result. I went ahead and I decided to scrap the thick raffia and I went with some thinner raffia. I made it a little bit longer bow and fanned it out a little bit more. And I don't know, I just kind of like pulling that natural wood from the leaves of the fall together in with the raffia. I think it really helps pull it all together as a project. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out with me and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye-bye.